Hello everyone and welcome back to the Unic Restoration. It's a new week and it's time to do some work on the Unic again. This weekend I had some time to do some serious cleaning inside my workshop, and I also lifted the Unic down from the welding table just to get a look on how it will fit on top of the Unic chassis, and it looks fantastic. This weekend I also did some testing on the track links to see how hard or how easy it will be to remove. I tried for at least 1.5 hours, banging and knocking, and didn't do much, so I have to get a new strategy here. I have to use a lot of heat, I think. So it will be interesting to see how this goes. Since it turned out to be so hard to remove the track pins, I think on the track system I will try to disassemble this wheel and that wheel, and hopefully I can pull the whole track in one piece away from the rest of the track system until I have a solution in place to press out these pins. It seems like I need to build some special tool for this job. My friend in France, he is going to give me a drawing on some pin presser tool that he made for his restoration project. But until then, I think I will try and put the tracks in some bath with some penetrating oil or some chemicals that removes all the rust, so it will be easier to remove the pins. Now I will lift off the Unic chassis so it's not in the way for the track system, and also I need to try and get this welding table out of that door over there. It's going to be interesting, and then I can continue. It is also time to take apart the front axle. It's going to be interesting to see the condition on the parts inside, if they are rotten away or if the brake shoes still are usable. So it's very heavy, so I'm going to use my crane on the beam to lift it up, place it on top of this box so it will be easier to work on it. Some nice original colors. Not bad. Very good, actually. Never ever have I seen they have hatched the brake liner in 3 separate pieces. Maybe it's a field repair somehow. I'm sure it will look real nice after some cleaning. It seems to be some gasket that used to be all the way around that I need to find a solution to replace, or maybe it's not needed. We'll see. There's the inside of the drum. Really not bad at all. Also on this side is very good. It seems a little bit more rusty on this side, but after some cleaning I'm sure it will be okay. There seems to be like a dust gasket that goes all the way around the brake drum that is made of spring steel. This can be a little tricky to repair. Maybe it's possible to use some other solution, because it's on the outside of this disc here, and we have a stopper here, so I can do some research and see what can be done there. But I'm glad that it seems like most of the springs and all the parts inside here can be used. Also the wheel bearing is turning, so I'm sure the bearings inside here after some cleaning also can be used. It's not necessary to change parts that are usable. If they are usable, they are usable. If not, then we change them. My axle is missing the covers over the nut for the wheel hub, so I'm going to get my turner to make new ones. They should also have the Unic logo on the ends. Maybe somebody someplace in Europe have the parts I need, but I think it will be very hard to find these parts. Looks really good. After some cleaning, it will be nice. Old grease. The first thing I need to do is to remove the tracks, and I don't want to waste any time of trying to release the track pins when they are rusted like this. So I was thinking if I remove the wheel there, and maybe the small wheel, then it will be possible just to tilt it over, and after I will put the track system, at least the tracks, in a tub and try to remove the rust with electrolysis. That is going to be an interesting process. I have never tested this before, but many people that I speak with say it's a technique that could loosen up the tracks, so it will be easier to restore them. So it will be interesting to see. So then we just need to find the correct tools and start. One track is finally off. Then it will be easier to remove the rest of the wheels. I realized that these bolts here was very hard to come to because they are sticking out on the backside and the track was in the way, so I just pulled off the track. It will be easier. So one side left to go. The tracks are finally off. It was some hard work, but now it's possible and easier to disassemble the rest of the track system. When I remove the tracks now, it seems like the bogie is bent. It's bent around here and leaning to the right. So have to do some research there to see if it's possible to straighten it up. I'm sure it will be. It is casted steel, so it should be heated up and bent back in position with a huge press. On the other side it looks much better. But when I measure it, we will know for sure. After I removed these tracks from the track system now, it was possible to do some checking to see if they were usable or not. And as you can see here, it's completely worn out. In this place should be as thick as like here, a little bit over 1 centimeter. So it seems like it has some mileage on these tracks. So I have to use the tracks that I bought in France. They are much better. Here we have the full size and no wear, but it will be some work. Here we can see the track tensioner. It works like this, that you release the screw here, that screw goes in through and lands in between one of these edges here to hold it in place. So you have to release that screw, and then it will be possible to turn this around, and it moves the rear idler wheel back, and that tightens the track. Also, this must be the smallest leaf spring pack I have ever seen on a vehicle. Maybe they are 3-4 centimeters wide, 30 centimeters long. And also we can see the oil grease nipples that they use in the pre-war era. After the war they started using another design. The sprockets look real good from the outside, but when I turn around, you can see it's very worn out. Luckily I have the original axle for my vehicle, so I can take them off from the original axle and add them to these pieces. Here we can see the original axle. There are almost nowhere, only sharp edges, because this vehicle was converted as a tractor, so they made wheel bolts here and added a regular truck rim. So let's just continue and remove the rest of the wheels. looks good inside. Also the axle looks very good. Needs some cleaning. After some cleaning I can see there is a crack in the middle of the bearing. So I have to change that. Luckily this seems like a very modern design, so it should be easy to find a suitable bearing. Finally the other bogie also come loose. It was interesting to see some of the paint that was behind the wheels. In theory, if I remove this nut, it should be possible to just pull off the inner idler wheel, but we will see. I'm sure it's sitting good after all these years. Finally it came loose. Here we can clearly see what happens when you don't have the seals around. It was a lot of fine sand and rust inside. Another interesting fact here now is that I just discovered that the brake shoes in the rear axle is actually the same as the front axle. Very clever. Then they can use the same parts. I always wondered why they have these huge brake drums in the front. Usually it's always smaller in the front, and it's just simply because then you have one brake pad design that fits for the entire vehicle, so it was easier to acquire the parts maybe. This week is almost finished, but I'm very happy with the results this week. Managed to almost disassemble the whole track system. It's so good to finally see how the parts look inside, to know the condition, so I know what type of work I have in front of me and what will be the cost. Do I need to order new bearings and stuff? The shafts inside was in very good condition. There were some rings and stuff that needs to be changed. Also there are some old style simmerings here that are totally worn out and needs to be changed. In this place it's not possible to find the old type, but it's possible to insert a modern simmering. All I need is the outer diameter and the inside diameter for the shaft, and it will be a lot more tight, so there will be no oil leaks or grease in this case. This is a greased shaft. Also the front axle was disassembled, and the condition on these parts was also better than expected. Here are the front hubs. These bearings should work nice after some cleaning, I think, or else this type of bearings can still be bought brand new if they are turn out to be too hard to repair. Spindles was also in very good condition, needs proper cleaning, and there will be a lot of work here now with sandblasting the parts, cleaning the parts, adding primer, paint it before it eventually can be put back on the Unic again. During the weekend I will continue a little bit with the disassembly of the last wheels, and I think next week we can finally open the axle to see how all the internal parts are like. That is going to be very interesting. I hope they are okay, because if I need to repair any of the parts inside there, it's going to be a huge expense. But what I have seen from the main, it looks very good. They were oiled and lubricated, so it should be okay. I really hope so. That's all we had time for this week. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Then I'll see you again next week. Have a nice weekend.